Hi there, welcome to Fishy While. You know that the best part about raising koi fish is feeding them. Seeing them come to the surface, and even eating from the palm of your hand, is the best bonding experience between growing koi fish and their owners. And while it may be fun to watch your fish friends flop over one another, to get a glimpse of you, but remember, koi feeding needs to be regulated and monitored, to ensure the health and well-being of your koi. Many people asking, what to feed the koi carp? The answer is, it depends on their age, size and the season. And then of course, there's always how much you're willing to spend to get the good stuff. Generally, you can feed koi anything you can feed goldfish. Both fish species are technically carp and will eat just about anything such as organic koi food, vegetables, krill and plankton, breakfast cereal, dead leaves. You name it. They'll eat it. If you're buying koi food, things are always cheaper when you buy in bulk. Some formulas boast color-enhancing properties while others are fortified with vitamins to promote good immunity in your koi fish. Beyond that, it's often matter of preference and of course, the budget. Did you know, it's said that koi have a memory of around 3 minutes, yet they can learn to recognize their feeders. Talk about selective memory. We've assembled 10 great tips to help you become your koi's favorite face, even if they forget your name. First, feed your fish up to 4 times per day. Only feed them as much as they can eat in about a 5-minute period. Because if it exceeds that time period, leftover food will pollute the pond and can cause bad things to happen to the water. Second, koi fish eat just about anything, from small bugs and insects, to plants and algae at the bottom of the fish pond, to store-bought koi fish food. Third, koi will even eat people food. They love cereal, lettuce, shrimp, rice, peas, watermelon. Pretty much anything we like, koi fish consider food. Fourth, avoid feeding your koi fish before storms. Fish need more oxygen when digesting food. When it rains, oxygen levels in the air dip down, so you can see why it's a bad koi fish feeding time. Fifth, your growing koi will remember you as their feeder after only a short amount of time. Consistently feed them and they will begin to greet you as you approach the pond. Sixth, your smaller koi fish will need to eat flake or small koi food. Larger koi fish prefer pebble food. Seventh, your koi fish prefer more carbohydrate-rich foods early in the spring and late in the fall, while protein is better in early summer when mating is in the air. 8. As you know, koi fish feeding time is fun. Enjoy your special time with your beloved growing koi. 9. Koi fish can go all winter without eating because their metabolism slows to a crawl. 10. Koi fish feeding is not recommended if your pump breaks because your koi need oxygen to digest their food. There are a few different kinds of food you can be feeding your koi, such as fresh foods, freeze-dried foods, and prepared foods. Prepared pellets are the most convenient because they are created to meet all of the nutritional needs of koi fish, but fresh and freeze-dried foods can be added as a supplement. When it comes to prepared foods, they vary in shape and size. They also come in floating or sinking varieties. Floating pellets are recommended because they let you see if you're overfeeding your fish. You also get to watch your koi come to the surface to feed. One of the joys of koi ownership. As for fresh and freeze-dried foods, they vary from bloodworms, brine shrimp, clams, and chopped vegetables. All are acceptable for supplemental feeding. When feeding your koi, disperse small amounts of food at a time. Watch as your koi come up to eat the food. Only feed your koi as much as they can eat in 5-minute sessions. Feed your koi 3 times a day. Early morning, early afternoon, and late afternoon. Stick to this schedule to avoid overfeeding. Overfeeding not only harms the health of your koi, but also pollutes their water. Koi will overeat when overfed, so make sure you stick to the 5-minute feeding schedule. If any extra food remains after 20 minutes, clean it out of the tank. Your koi fish will gradually become more and more comfortable with you as you feed them every day. Make sure you stick around when feeding them so they can see you. This will build the trust between fish and owner. Soon, they will be practically leaping out of the water to feed from your hand. Koi are a hardy member of the carp fish family, and can handle quite a bit if the conditions of your koi carp pond are right. Seasonal ponds should be at least a 1.5 deep or half a meter, while year-long ponds should be at least 4.5 feet or 1.5 meters. Water should be kept between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. Beyond depth and temperature, your koi need a few important things in a pond habitat. At least 50% of your pond should be covered by vegetation or another type of shade. Your koi fish need a proper mix of sun and shade. It's important to have a source of oxygen in your pond. Getting a pump to circulate and aerate your fish pond water. Infusing much-needed oxygen into your koi carp pond. Raising koi is impossible without an oxygen-rich environment. If you raising your koi outside, your pond needs to be a minimum of 4-5 feet deep to avoid turning your fish into a popsicle. That's the first and main rule. Keep in mind that a pond that hasn't been cleaned in a while is effectively shallower if there is a buildup of debris at the bottom of the koi pond. Your koi will not need to eat during the winter months because their metabolism slows to a crawl. They do continue to produce a nitrogen waste though, so it is important to have a way to release this gas. Some people use a small trough heater, which can be found at most farm supply stores. The heater keeps a small opening at the top of the pond throughout the entire winter. The hold lets the gas escape, and keeps your fish safe from a dangerous buildup of nitrogen gas. It's important to keep an eye on the opening, and clear it of snow if needed throughout the winter. If you're going to keep fish, it's imperative that your pond have proper filtration. A mechanical skimmer is your first line of defense for removing unwanted debris such as leaves and twigs from the surface of the water. If left to decay in the pond, organic material can cause a host of water issues that could make your fish sick. The skimmer also houses the pump which circulates the water, and helps to aerate the pond. A biological filter is positioned opposite the skimmer to create the beginning of a waterfall. This filter uses bacteria to break down pond wastes, converting them into less harmful compounds that can act as aquatic plant fertilizers. First, fish need clean water. Your pond water should always be clean smelling, and have good clarity. On occasion, the water might be green due to suspended algae, or slightly brown due to tannins. Algae is expected in the spring when the plants haven't yet reached maturity for the season. Once the plants grow, they consume more nutrients from the water, thereby starving algae of food to survive. Ponds in sunny locations experience higher algae growth, but this can be alleviated by shading the pond surface with water lilies or floating plants like water lettuce and water hyacinth. Keep in mind, algae isn't necessarily a bad thing. Your pond fish will eat algae off the rocks in your pond, so it's good to have a little of the green stuff. Too much algae can become unsightly but can be controlled with various water treatments. Second, maintain a healthy population. One secret to making sure your pond water remains balanced and healthy is to control your fish population. Sure, it's tempting to add lots of colorful koi and pond fish to your water garden, but you want to avoid overcrowding. Too many fish creates excess waste in the pond water, which in turn can cause water quality issues. As a general rule of thumb, pond fish need 10 gallons of water for every inch of their length. So a 10-inch long fish needs 100 gallons. If you have 5 10-inch long fish, your water garden should have at least 500 gallons of water. Keep in mind that your fish are going to grow, so be sure to understock your pond in the beginning. Third, feed your fish appropriately. Koi and other pond fish will feed on natural sources such as algae and wayward insects, but they'll benefit from a prepared, quality fish food such as Aquascape premium fish food pellets. Just like other pet foods, not all fish food is created equal. You want to look for food that contains a high-quality protein along with stabilized multivitamins and probiotics. Only feed your fish what they can consume in about 3 to 5 minutes. In the summer you can feed them twice per day, but in spring and fall you should only feed them once per day. Be sure not to feed the fish at all after your pond water temperature is below 50 degrees Fahrenheit.